Be me, 23, living alone in a small apartment in Chicago, working as a PR coordinator for a tech company that prides itself on being progressive. My team writes campaigns about empowerment, body positivity, and independence. Stuff like own your story and redefine womanhood. Back then, it all sounded right to me. My dad still called every Sunday. He's a retired mechanic from Indiana, steady, practical, a man who believes effort and loyalty still mean something. He met my mom in high school, married her young, and they've been together for over 30 years. He still tells me, don't give yourself to men who haven't earned you. You'll forget what it means to be valued. I used to roll my eyes so hard it hurt. Dad, it's not the Stone Age, I told him. Women aren't property anymore. We get to decide what we want. I truly believed his opinion didn't matter, not because I hated him, but because everything I'd learned about modern womanhood told me men like him were out of touch. He didn't understand that empowerment meant freedom, that exploring your body, sleeping with whoever you wanted, was supposed to be healthy and liberating. Feminism said the world was overpopulated anyway. We didn't need to settle down or have kids just to please some man. Never tie yourself down, Ava would always say. A ring is just a pretty leash. I loved that line. It made me feel untouchable. Then I discovered dating apps. At first, I just downloaded one out of curiosity. Brooke showed me how to use it, how to set up photos, how to flirt, how to filter for men who looked expensive. I didn't realize how fast it would consume me. The validation was intoxicating. Notifications, compliments, options. Every match felt like proof that I mattered. I told myself marriage was outdated. I had time. I'd settle down someday, but for now, I'd just enjoy the attention. Men seemed obsessed with me. Surely one of them would stick around when I decided I was ready. I even joked to Ava that I wouldn't have to work by 30 if I played my cards right. My friends were my mirror. Ava, the cynical one. Brooke, the wild one. We'd clink glasses and toast to our independence. If men can have their fun, so can we, Ava said once. This is equality. Brooke smirked. It's not about love, it's about power. I nodded like it was gospel. We called it freedom. Looking back, I think I was just trying to prove something. That I could be the kind of woman who didn't need anyone. That I could act like the guys who bragged about their conquests and felt nothing. I wanted to believe I was immune to attachment, but I wasn't. I grew up in a small Indiana town where Friday nights meant football games and homemade dinners. My mom used to braid my hair before school and say things like, "A good life isn't about excitement. It's about peace." I swore I'd never live like that. I wanted more. More thrill, more freedom, more everything. There was this girl at work, Lily. She was quiet, wore soft colors, and brought banana bread to the office sometimes. She had this calmness about her that annoyed me. When she got engaged, everyone clapped. I smiled, but it felt forced. Later, when she walked away, I muttered, "Of course she's engaged. She's the type men marry." Brooke laughed, barefoot and pregnant by 30. We all laughed. It was easier than admitting it stung a little. That someone could get chosen for being gentle while I was still auditioning for attention. That weekend, we went out like we always did. I wore a tight red dress Ava picked out, the kind that made my chest pop and my waist look like a cartoon. Brooke said I looked like a walking trap. I loved it. I felt electric before we even left the apartment. We danced, took tequila shots, posed for pictures like we were the main characters. I kept checking my phone. A guy I'd just matched with on the app. Jason said he might swing by. He looked expensive in his profile, had that laid-back smirk that said he'd done this before. He showed up around midnight, leaned in close, said, "I looked even better in person." "You've got that energy," he said, touching my arm. Like you own the whole room. I laughed like it was nothing, but inside I felt lit up. I remember thinking, I can have whoever I want. We made out in the corner of the bar like teenagers. Then we Ubered back to his place. High-rise downtown, clean enough to show he had money, but messy enough to be real. That was my first actual hookup through an app, and I felt amazing, wanted, powerful, like this was what I'd always imagined adult womanhood would be. Sex on my terms, no strings, no awkward texts after. No deep talk, no expectations, just heat, rhythm, noise, skin. It felt like I was finally doing what women were supposed to be free to do. I left before sunrise, heels in hand, hair a little tangled. The city looked quiet in that early morning haze, but I felt alive, not ashamed, not sad, just proud, like I'd cracked some kind of code. On the train ride home, I leaned against the window, letting the cold glass touch my cheek. I wasn't thinking about the guy or whether he'd call. I didn't care. I was thinking, this is it. This is freedom. This is what they meant. That night, brushing my teeth, I still heard my dad's voice in my head. You'll forget what it means to be valued. I spit the toothpaste into the sink, smiled at my reflection, and said out loud, I think I'm finally starting to understand it, Dad. I meant it. Back then, I really believed I was winning. The next few years were a blur of dates, hookups, rooftop bars, and different guys with the same cologne and copied compliments. I was 27 now, still in the same apartment, still working at the same company, still meeting up with Ava and Brooke every weekend like it was some kind of religion. At first, I thought I was living the dream. Men wanted me. They chased me. My phone buzzed constantly. I had options. I had attention. But somewhere around 25, I started thinking, maybe I should try settling down. Not with just anyone, but there were a few I thought had potential. Mark, Darren, Luis, all of them had something that made me think, maybe this is the one I can build something with. So I tried. I texted first, I cooked dinner, I stayed the night, hoping they'd ask me to stay again. But they didn't. The moment I wanted more than drinks and sex, they pulled away. Some disappeared, others gave half excuses. I'm just not ready for anything serious, or you're amazing, I'm just not in the right place. One of them said, straight up, you're cool, but you're not exactly girlfriend material. That one stuck. I started getting angry. Wasn't this the deal? I'd been fun, easygoing, down for whatever. I wasn't needy. I didn't nag. I didn't make demands. I played it cool, like I was supposed to. And now that I was ready for something real, they all acted like I'd asked for too much. At brunch, Ava said, men are scared of women like us. They can't handle our energy, Brooke added. They're intimidated. They want soft little girls who stay quiet and cook. I nodded, but it didn't land the way it used to. A few days later, Lily came by the office. She was glowing. Pregnancy suited her. She looked like she'd stepped out of a Pinterest board. Flowy sweater, soft scarf, hair tied back. People surrounded her instantly, asking baby questions, complimenting her ring. I stood back by the printer, pretending to check a report, but she spotted me. Hi, cutie, she smiled, walking over with that warm energy she always had. We hugged, then sat near the break room for a few minutes. I tried to keep it casual. Wow, you really leaned into the whole settling down thing, huh? I joked. She laughed. Yeah, I guess I did. It's peaceful. I raised an eyebrow. But doesn't it get boring? Like, you don't miss your independence? She tilted her head. I didn't lose it. I chose a different kind of life. One with roots instead of constant motion. I pressed a little. But don't you feel Stuck? Like, what if your husband just changes his mind one day? You gave up your freedom for what? Security? She smiled softly. It's not about security. It's about trust and love. And yeah, it's a gamble. But everything meaningful is. I tried to challenge her. I just don't see how giving up your autonomy is empowering. Isn't the whole point of being a modern woman that we don't have to settle? Lily didn't flinch. Empowerment isn't doing what men do. It's knowing what you want and not being afraid to commit to it, even if it looks old-fashioned. I didn't know what to say. She wasn't judging me. That's what made it worse. She looked genuinely happy, genuinely at peace, like she wasn't performing for anyone. Meanwhile, I was still dressing for validation, checking my phone for texts that never came. She gave me a hug before leaving. Take care of yourself, okay? Seriously. That line stayed in my head all night. A few weeks later, Ava's 28th birthday party was on a rooftop in Wicker Park. Same playlist as always, same crowd. I laughed, danced, took selfies, but it all felt a little forced. Around midnight, I stepped outside, needing air. Chicago lights spread out beneath the balcony, glittering like a lie. My phone buzzed. A text from a guy I barely remembered hooking up with once. You up? I stared at it, then answered. Not because I wanted to, because I didn't want to be alone. He was nice enough, polite, said I looked hot. We didn't talk much after. I left before the sun came up again. Back in my apartment, I sat on the edge of the bed, phone in hand. Ava had texted, "Girl, tell me everything." I typed back, "Same story, different guy." She replied with laughing emojis. I didn't laugh. I just sat there, phone face down, apartment too quiet. I thought about Lily's calmness, about the way she didn't need to prove anything, and for the first time, I wondered if all this running had left me more trapped than free. Things went on like this for some time. For years I'd told myself that one of them would stick around when I was ready to settle down. I'd tried with a few, cooked dinners, stayed over, even hinted at exclusivity, but every single one backed off. Then one thing broke everything I believed. This new guy called Daniel started at the office. Early 30s, tall but not flashy, dressed sharp but modest. He had a calmness about him that reminded me of my dad. Steady, grounded. Everyone liked him, but unlike the other men at work, he didn't flirt with me, not even once. At first, it annoyed me. Then it got under my skin. One Thursday night, our team went for drinks. I'd worn a fitted black dress, hair straightened, makeup perfect. Men at the bar glanced at me all night. Daniel never did. Later, when everyone was tipsy, the conversation turned to dating apps. Ava made some joke about men being fragile. I piled on. Honestly, it's 2025. Women don't need marriage anymore. We're living our best lives, Daniel, sitting across from me nursing a whiskey, raised an eyebrow. Are you? He asked quietly. What? I snapped. Living your best life. You sound tired when you say it. I laughed too loudly. Wow. Okay, Dad. You sound like my father. You think women should stay home barefoot and pregnant? He shook his head. No. I think women should know what they actually want, not what social media tells them they're supposed to want. That stung. And what? You think sleeping around is bad now? Newsflash. Men do it all the time. You all get high fives for it. He leaned forward, calm but direct. Men don't get high fives for marrying women with a long history. You're attractive. Men will always want to sleep with you, but sleeping with you isn't the same as wanting to build a life with you. Those are two completely different instincts. I blinked. That's sexist. It's biology, he said. Most men don't want to be serious with a woman who's been with dozens of others. It's not fair, maybe, but it's real, And the more you pretend it isn't, the more it hurts you. My chest went hot. So what? You only date virgins? No, he said simply. I date women who still believe in something. Women who've protected a part of themselves for the man they want to give it to. It's not about numbers. It's about how you live. I rolled my eyes. That's ridiculous. We're not living in the 1950s. He smiled faintly. Yet the women who live closer to those values are still the ones men marry. Why do you think that is? I opened my mouth, closed it. Because men are controlling. They're insecure. They want someone weak. He shook his head. No, because men want someone they can trust to raise their kids, stand by them, respect them. If a man's first impression is that you've treated your intimacy like a free sample, he's going to enjoy it, but not invest in it. Same as you wouldn't invest in a company that gives everything away for free. I felt my face burn. You don't know me. He met my eyes. I don't have to. You've been telling me everything in your jokes, in your tone, in the way you talk about men. You've built an image of yourself that's fun, desirable, independent. But is it making you happy, or is it making you tired? The room felt smaller. I forced a laugh. Wow, you sound like some YouTube guru. You really think you're better than me? I don't think I'm better than you, he said quietly. I think you're better than the life you've been sold. I stared at him, speechless. Ava cracked a joke to break the tension. Everyone laughed. But I couldn't shake it. The next week, I tried dressing even sharper at work, tried being extra charming. Daniel stayed polite, distant. One evening, I overheard him on the phone near the elevators. He was talking to his fiancée, a sweet voice, soft laugh. He called her darling, said he'd pick up groceries on the way home. Later, I found her Instagram. She was nothing like me. No clubbing photos, no provocative captions, just pictures of her painting, her dog, her family. Simple, calm, the kind of woman I used to mock. That night, I lay awake longer than I wanted to admit. Daniel's voice kept replaying in my head. Men will always want to sleep with you. But that's not the same as wanting to build with you. I kept thinking, he's wrong. I'm not broken. I'm not too far gone. I told myself that if the right guy came along, one who really saw me, everything would click. I could still be chosen. I could still be someone's first choice. Maybe not for sex, but for love, for something that mattered. A few weeks later, I met Eric. He wasn't flashy or loud. He was kind. Just kind. I met him through a mutual friend at a small dinner party. He asked me questions like he actually wanted to know the answers. Talked more about his family than himself. Laughed in a way that didn't feel performative. After dinner, he walked me to my car. Didn't try to kiss me, didn't linger. Just said, I'd really like to see you again. I smiled the whole drive home. We started dating, slowly. First coffee, then dinner, then a Sunday afternoon at the art museum. He'd pick me up on time, open doors, pay without making a thing of it. I waited for the switch, for the moment he'd lean in and start hinting at sex. It never came. By week 3, we were at his place after dinner, sitting on the couch drinking red wine. He had on a soft hoodie and jeans, nothing performative about him, just warmth. I curled up next to him. He wrapped an arm around me gently, not possessive, just protective. You know what's wild, I said, half drunk. You haven't even tried to kiss me yet. He looked over, smiled. I've wanted to. I just don't rush that stuff anymore. Why? I asked, genuinely curious. He hesitated. Because I've only been with one person. I waited until I thought she was it. That stunned me. I blinked. Only one? He nodded. Yeah, I'm not into hookup culture. I wanted it to mean something I tried to keep my tone light. Did it? He sighed. It did. For me, not for her. He stared into his glass for a second, then continued. She'd had a past. I told myself it didn't matter, that it was just numbers. But, over time, it showed. She never looked at me the way she talked about the guys before me. It was like I was her reset button, her safe choice. Not the one she wanted, just the one she thought she could trust. I didn't know what to say. I just sipped my wine and stared at the floor. Then he asked, gently, not accusing, "Have you been the same way?" I blinked again. "What do you mean?" He glanced at me. "I mean, do you believe in that kind of thing too?" Waiting. Meaning. I know it's not popular anymore. I could have lied, but I didn't. "I've had a past," I said. "I wasn't wild or anything, but I've lived." He nodded slowly. "Okay." There was a long pause. I felt the pressure building in my chest. "Do you want to know how many?" "I'd rather not," he said. "Unless you think I should." I hesitated, then gave him the number, around 35 to 40. It wasn't ridiculous, but it wasn't small either. He didn't say anything at first, just sat back, exhaled. Then said quietly, "Okay, thanks for telling me." But something changed in the air. His body didn't move away, but something in his eyes did. The way he looked at me, softer before, curious, was now neutral, like he was still here, but already leaving. I tried to break the silence. "Does it change anything?" He didn't lie. He didn't do that thing where men say, "No, it's fine," when it's clearly not. Instead, he said, "It makes it harder." I swallowed. "Why?" "Because I like you. A lot. And this has been the first time in years I thought maybe something real could happen. But now I'm wondering, can we even see intimacy the same way?" He turned toward me. "I don't judge you. I get why people live the way they do, but I saved a part of myself for someone. And I guess I hoped, deep down, that she'd done the same. Not to match numbers, but to match meaning." My throat tightened. "But I'm not that girl anymore." He nodded. "I believe you. But the way you lived still shaped you, and I can't pretend it doesn't matter to me." I tried to explain. It wasn't meaningless for me. I thought that was what we were supposed to do, that it was freedom. He looked pained. "That's the tragedy, isn't it? They told women freedom meant giving everything away. And then when they want to be held sacred again, it's too late." I wanted to scream at him. I wanted to say he was wrong, that I could still be sacred, but I couldn't even make myself believe it in that moment. He stood up. "I'm sorry, I really love your company. Truly. But I'd be lying if I said I can keep going like this and not feel it every time I look at you." He walked me to the door. Didn't kiss me. Just opened it slowly. "I hope you find someone who sees what I see. And feels it differently." I nodded. I couldn't cry. I just said, "Thanks for being honest." He closed the door. I got into my car, drove home in silence, didn't even turn the lights on when I got in. I sat on my bed, fully dressed, shoes still on, staring at nothing. Now I'm stuck, and all I can think of is if my past killed my future chances of ever finding a partner that will take me seriously.